I don't think we realize what the Kansas City Chiefs just did. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Kansas City Chiefs news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Patrick Mahomes had this to say about Kansas City Chiefs heading into Week 13. Rookie wide receiver Rashee Rice finally had his breakout outing with the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 12, but quarterback Patrick Mahomes II believes there's still a lot left for the first-year prospect to achieve. The goal for him now is to keep working, keep getting better, and don't be satisfied with where he's at, Mahomes told reporters about Rice during his Week 13 press conference on November 29. He added that hopefully Rice will have even bigger games as his NFL career progresses. This challenge from the reigning NFL MVP came after a member of the KC media asked Mahomes what becoming Patrick friendly means to him, a phrase head coach Andy Reid used to describe Rice's progress in recent weeks. "I think just how you work," the Chiefs QB responded. "I think that's the biggest thing. If guys continue to work and continue to practice, and I get a feel for how they run routes and a feel for how they're seeing stuff on the football field, it just makes my job easier," he explained, noting that Rice has done a great job of that as a rookie. Mahomes also made it clear that doesn't happen with first-year wide receivers very often. "He's getting a lot better," Mahomes reiterated later. "Rice doesn't make the same mistakes twice. I think that's the biggest thing. There's little things here and there where we might not be on the same page, but once we talk about it on the sideline, he doesn't make that mistake again. That's why you see he's gotten better and better throughout the season." The Week 12 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders marked the first 100-plus yard receiving game of Rice's young career. Before that, his previous high was 4 catches for 72 yards against the Denver Broncos in Week 6, so he appears to like division games. Mahomes and Rice have that in common, considering the quarterback's dominant record over the AFC West since entering the league. Mahomes' challenge to Rice probably comes as no surprise. The Chiefs' signal caller not only practices what he preaches, but he's lived by those words for most of his career, if not all of it. "For me, it's all the time," Mahomes replied candidly, after a reporter asked him when the team realizes they have to kick things up a notch for a playoff run. "Off-season, in-season, whatever it is," the superstar went on. "Knowing that you take the day you want to maximize the day and get better and better, but at the end of the day, you're working for that ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. And so, you have to take it week in and week out," Mahomes concluded. "But your mentality should be, I'm going to do this today to be better for the next day and for the next day until the Super Bowl comes." This mindset, more than anything else, is the mark of true greatness. We've seen shades of it in other top athletes like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and more. And the great thing about Mahomes is, not only does he have this trait, but he attempts to bring it out of his teammates. Challenging Travis Kelce, challenging Rice, that's what it takes to be a tremendous leader. That's what it takes to be a champion. Reid went into a bit of detail about it on Monday, with Wednesday's media availability allowing him to dive further into Rice's development on the fly. "Getting better at understanding how to play against these zones, these crazy zones that these defenses throw at you," Reid said, "and getting into space where you're available. It's not always the way it's drawn up on a piece of paper. You've got to have a feel." So when I say that, I'm saying he's got a feel and he's building in all of those different defenses and kind of seeing that and putting that together, which is good. There will keep being challenges. This will be a big challenge for him, this game here, but he's getting better every week at that. 11 games into his rookie campaign, Rice is emerging as the Chiefs' best player at the wide receiver position. Leading the group in targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns, the number 55 overall selection in this year's NFL draft is stepping up to the plate in a legitimate way. As a result, the team has recently acknowledged that he's no longer a situation-specific player within the offense. Kansas City hinted at Rice growing more and more involved, which is exactly what happened on Sunday. On the year, per Pro Football Focus, Rice has logged 179 snaps lined up in the slot and 175 lined up out wide. In weeks 1-8, that split was 126 to 105. Since then, however, that total comes out to 53 versus 70. The Chiefs believe in their rookie wideout to handle not being sheltered a bit inside, which allows him to do more. The trust factor has immediately translated with Mahomes, thus making Rice more Patrick-friendly. Mahomes says it stems from repetition. The second story is Chiefs make unexpected promotion after Mecole Hardman injury. There was Kansas City Chiefs news on the evening of November 28th as a 53-man signing followed up on the injury to wide receiver Mecole Hardman. Chiefs Digest insider Matt Derrick relayed, Chiefs filled the open spot on the 53 with rookie cornerback Boye-Doe from the practice squad. The undrafted free agent from Kansas State gets a promotion. The 24-year-old signing marks a full-circle moment for a tremendous feel-good story, but it's definitely not the addition that most fans expected with a healthy cornerback room heading into Week 13. Just seems weird when we are short a running back and a receiver? One fan questioned on X. He's not wrong. Having said that, it's possible this is more of a special teams move than a defensive one. Hardman rotated in at wide receiver after being reacquired via trade, but he has always been a special teams asset first and foremost. If the plan is for Boye-Doe to suit up on Sundays, he'll have to prove to head coach Andy Reid and coordinator Dave Toub that he can be the same. In Kansas City, Boye-Doe should be a multi-phase contributor on special teams, A2Z Sports Kansas City reporter Charles Goldman voiced while covering the signing. The biggest knock on him from a defensive standpoint was simply that he was light and needed to add good weight, the Chiefs insider added. After a dozen weeks in an NFL weight program, he should be a little better suited to fill in on the defensive side of the ball if necessary. Realistically, though, defensive snaps will be hard to come by barring injury. The Chiefs have Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed locked into their two top cornerback roles in 2023. Behind them, you also have Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, Nick Jones, veteran safety Mike Edwards, and rookie defensive back Shamari Connor, depending on how they're used. So, no, Boye-Doe probably isn't playing defense anytime soon, which makes his most likely purpose on special teams. The only other reason he'd be promoted is if KC believed another NFL franchise was trying to poach him. Boye-Doe is a 6-foot-tall, undrafted prospect who is a native of Ghana. After immigrating to the United States at a young age, the athlete found a home in Kansas, playing for Kansas State in college. Later, he earned a training camp invite with KC after impressing during rookie minicamp. His family's dream was for him to someday take the field for the Chiefs as a true NFL professional, and that could come to fruition in Week 13. With Boye-Doe signing, the Chiefs ignored running back and wide receiver to some extent. That's good news for the status of Jerick McKinnon and Kadarius Toney, considering both missed Week 12 with injury. We should get a better sense of their availability as the team begins practice on November 29th. With McKinnon healthy again, Kansas City would have the same RB room they've had all year. The only slight difference is that backup Lamical Perine has run out of practice squad elevations, meaning rookie Denerick Prince could get the call if another injury were to occur. At wide receiver, the Chiefs have 6 active bodies with the potential for more via elevation. Those players are Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Justin Watson, Sky Moore, Richie James, and Toney. Look for Rice to continue to step into that WR1 role as the year goes on. Although the Kansas City Chiefs have an 8-3 record, some are a bit doubtful about them when it comes to their chances of winning their 3rd Super Bowl championship in the last 5 seasons. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who is generally considered the best in the NFL, is putting up somewhat lackluster numbers this season by his standards, and the team still lacks a legitimate threat at wide receiver. But LaShawn McCoy said on FS1's Speak that Mahomes can definitely lead the Chiefs back to the big game, and he cited a big reason, something the Chiefs have never really had going for them in the Mahomes era. McCoy mentioned the Chiefs' defense, which currently ranks 4th in total yards allowed and 3rd in points given up, and said it is taking plenty of pressure off Mahomes and his offensive teammates. Chris Jones, their star defensive lineman, recently said Kansas City has been so spoiled by their offense, but their defense has largely picked up the slack lately. The third story is Chiefs sign CB Boye-Doe to 53-man roster. The Kansas City Chiefs filled their final space on the 53-man roster on Tuesday. According to the league's personnel notice, the Chiefs have signed former Kansas State CB Boye-Doe to the 53-man roster. The undrafted free agent made a strong case for a roster spot ahead of the season, but he'll now get his chance. The team had been shorthanded for the past several weeks with just 52 players on the active roster. The latest roster space comes from Mecole Hardman's placement on injured reserve ahead of the Week 12 game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Boye-Doe originally signed with the Chiefs following a successful tryout at rookie minicamp. He didn't make 53-man roster cuts, but the rookie has been on the practice squad throughout the 2023 NFL season. Listed at 6 foot and 170 pounds, Boye-Doe appeared in 42 games with 35 career starts for the Wildcats. Last season, he recorded 26 total tackles, 5 passes defended, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. In Kansas City, Boye-Doe should be a multi-phase contributor on special teams. The biggest knock on him from a defensive standpoint was simply that he was light and needed to add good weight. After a dozen weeks in an NFL weight program, he should be a little better suited to fill in on the defensive side of the ball if necessary.